How determined are you to build off of that? And was that just a glimpse of what you can do?
Very determined. Put on a lot of weight this offseason to get my strength up, gain about 15 pounds. So I'm very determined to make an impact for this team.
Were you at all surprised by the impact you did make at the end of the year?
I mean, I was to do it at a college football level, but I've been doing it my whole life, so I wasn't very surprised at what I did for the team.
And in terms of this unit, you lost 3 senior captains, and almost any other team would be like, okay, you step back. I don't get that sense with you guys. Why is that?
We reloaded with our depth, and last year we had a lot of players that could play. So this year we're gonna have the same with four seniors and a couple young guys that can make an impact.
How are you better?
Yeah.
Say it again.
How are you better? What have you tried to, ante up on?
This whole off season I've been trying to get my weight up, so I'm up to 185 now. Playing at 170 last year. Got a little faster, got bigger and stronger, so can't wait to make an impact this year.
Showing off a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, if you were eligible your junior year of high school, would your high school team win a state championship?
That's a great question, but that was my brother's senior year, so he wasn't able to play, but I just wanted to see him play that year.
But do you think if you guys were playing, you would have won it?
That's a great question, but I don't know. Our junior year, we had I think our record was 7-5 or something around that, but
state semifinals that year, though.
No, that was we lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Okay.
That was that year.
Chris, how was a second training camp different than the first one time through?
You get a feel for it the first time. The first time you're kind of nervous and you don't know what you're gonna get, but the second time you're kind of used to it and going against the guys every day. So
It seemed like your name was coming up a lot last year in August, even though it took maybe till November and you started making those plays. How does a guy that comes in, so the Garrett and Jamison are going through, how can they make an impact and when their heads are swimming like yours might have been?
that, like I said, they don't really know what they're getting themselves into, but they're both doing a great job, and especially Garrett. Hopefully, going to make an impact this year, at the end of the year.
What does having the game that you had against Michigan do for somebody who's going into an off season, going into their true sophomore season? That was maybe one of the best individual performances in the history of the rivalry.
Yeah.
Does it change anything in your mind? Do you get more excited about where you're headed? I mean, how does that impact you?
That doesn't really change me. It kind of humbles me more. Just to know that people are expecting more from me this year, and the coaches, the players are expecting more from me. So I just got to do what I do and try to make an impact for my team.
What are you expecting from you?
I'm expecting to make an impact on offense and more on special teams. Trying to block punts, be a gunner, play on kickoff, play kickoff return, and just do what my teammates expect from me.
More on special teams than offense?
Not necessarily, but I'm starting on most of the special teams, so whenever I have a chance to make that play.
What stands out the most about Justin?
It's a lot of strength to his game, throwing the ball. What stands out the most is he has that running ability, but he wants to stay in the pocket the most. So he has that blazing speed, but he doesn't really want to use his legs. He wants to use his passing game.
It was easy for a receiver to be excited to play with Dwayne Haskins for obvious reasons. How excited are you guys to play with Justin, and why?
Justin is great. He's not really a downfall. He has a passing ability to his game, and I can't wait to play with him.
Chris, last year you got the opportunity, really when Austin got hurt. I know he's been a little dinged up this camp, but if you guys are both in there rotating at Z, what can that tandem look like? We've seen him at X with Ben, but with you two at Z, what does that possibly look like going into the season, having both of you there?
Austin is a great receiver and even better person, so having him out right now is kind of a hit to our receiver room, and when we get him back, we're going to be way better. So
I know that your junior year of high school, you're probably devastated that you weren't eligible. But when you look at the fact that you weren't eligible, you didn't have tape, that slowed your recruitment down, and then that's the reason maybe why you're here.
Yeah.
You ever, sitting here now as a sophomore, ever think back at, your path and how those dominoes might have had to fall in that direction to get you here? Because maybe you would be at USC or another program, UCLA, if they would have offered you earlier because of that tape, right?
Yeah. Looking back at it, I look at it as God's plan. So we had a thing like a couple weeks ago, like how did you get here? And going into my junior year, I didn't have my offers. Going into my senior year, I had a couple of small schools. So my senior year definitely capped it off, and that's what got me here.
What was that thing that you just said? How we got here? What did you do?
It was like going into my junior year. I was kind of depressed, and I kind of leaned on my family for everything. So what did I do to get here? That was kind of Ohio State was my first big offer. So I kind of jumped on that, and my family also jumped on it.
Did you think that there was a point where you thought you were going to Washington State? A, did you ever really think about committing there? I know Alex Grinch was part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And two, what was it like dealing with Mike Leach on the phone, if you ever talked to him?
I didn't really talk to him much during the recruiting process, kind of Coach Grinch. So Washington State was my my second offer. Coach Grinch was recruiting me heavily, and I kind of just waited until the whole process ended. So I committed late, like a week before signing day, the second period, and I just waited it out to see what's going to happen.
Which of these DBs has made you better in practice?
All the first team DBs, including Jeff. Jeff is really good. Size, length. He's a typical. I think he's the best corner in the nation. So going against him every day is getting me way better. And Damon Arnett is really good. Also, Sean Wade and Steven Banks.
You guys are good. I'm sure you hold your own, but is it tough going against those guys in practice? Is it frustrating?
Yeah,
sometimes?
it's real tough and kind of frustrating at the same time. Not getting the catches you want, and them being there every play, every down, being on your hip, making plays on the ball is tough. So it makes the game way easier for us, and we can't wait to get to the game.
When you were practicing with your high school team your entire junior year, when you weren't eligible, was that tough to have to go through the worst part of playing football, which is practice and not being able to play? And did you ever just think, I'm not going to do this anymore?
Yeah, it was real tough. Like I said, I kind of lean on my family and my brother. Having to be his senior year, it was real tough. Wanting to be out there with my teammates on Friday nights. I just wanted to make them better on a scout team. So.
Yeah, I talked to your coach today on the phone, so I'm asking you all these weird questions.
Yeah.
And he said that early on in your senior year, there was a play where you guys were backed up on your own 2-yard line. You had ISO coverage on the outside with no help, and you audibled with your eyes to the quarterback. Scored 98-yard touchdown. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It seems like ever since you got to Ohio State, the second you got on the field, you made things happen. The second you got on the field, you made things happen at your high school.
Yeah.
Are we overrating you a little bit too much right now, or is this kind of a sign of what you did last year, in your opinion, the sign of something great to come?
No, I don't really think about that too much. I kind of just try to play my game on the field. What I did last year is in the past, and when I want to do this year, I'm gonna make it happen. So.
What do you? Okay.
When we asked you about the Michigan game before. When going into that game, how much did you know about the rivalry coming from out west? And
I didn't know much